This is an Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime creation story, specifically by the Giampa people of southeastern Australia that I have found online. The Aboriginal Dreamtime is a collection of creation stories explaining the natural world. A long, long time ago, in the beginning when no people, animals, trees, or plants existed on Australia, Guthi Guthi, the ancestral spirit, lived up in the sky. He looked upon the barren landscape, and then, wishing for a more lively setting, he came down from the sky to create all sorts of plants, animals, and people that you now find. However, he knew that the land was missing something: water. Guthi Guthi knew that buried deep inside Mount Minara lay the water serpent, Wee-Wee. He called out to Wee-Wee, but because Wee-Wee was buried inside the mountain, he could not hear him. Guthi Guthi went back up to the sky, where he called again, but Wee-Wee was still trapped in the mountain, so he still could not hear Guthi Guthi. Guthi Guthi then roared down from the sky and banged on Mount Minara, and the mountain split open. Wee-Wee came out of the mountain and went around creating all the rivers and watering holes you see today. Once all that was done, Wee-Wee went back into Mount Minara, and that's where he lives now. But Guthi Guthi wanted another large river to come down from the north. For this, it was the duty of old Pundu, the cod, to create the river known as the Darling River today. So he came out with Mudlark, his little friend, and they set off from the north, creating the large river. Once the land was shaped and created, Guthi Guthi created the first two tribes of Australia, Eaglehawk and Crow. Now, a bit about Eaglehawk and Crow. A long time ago, they lived together in a camp with others. It was Eaglehawk's, then a person, turn to go hunting. Eaglehawk had a little baby with him, and asked Crow, also a person back then, to hold it for him. Normally, Eaglehawk would take his baby with him, but food was getting much scarcer, and they had to go further and further away to find it. However, Crow declined the offer, as the baby was crying loudly and would disturb the camp. Eaglehawk said that his baby would be quiet if Crow sat and had sung him a song, and Eaglehawk promised him some of the meat that they came back with. Eaglehawk then put the baby in Crow's arms and walked off with his hunting group before Crow could respond. Crow then tried taking the child into his gunya, or lean-to, and sang and talked to the infant, but he would still not quiet down. Crow tried everything, but he got so fed up that he grabbed his hunting club and beat the poor child to death. He then took the baby around back of his gunya and covered it with sticks and leaves, and wrapped it in his coat. When Eaglehawk came back later in the day, Crow acted like he was singing to the baby in his gunya. Eaglehawk remarked to Crow that his singing must have sung the baby to sleep, and to this Crow replied that the baby was out back, and it would be best that Eaglehawk did not wake him up. Eaglehawk said he was going to take the baby home and take care of him anyway. When Crow heard this, he ran into the mallee, the thick scrub. When Eaglehawk went around back, he noticed that everything was too still around him. He then saw the baby wrapped in Crow's coat, and when he unwrapped it, he saw the dead baby. He then cried out, "My baby! Crow killed my baby!" And then all of Eaglehawk's hunters came out and began chasing after Crow. However, Crow had found his way into the very center of the mallee, where none of the hunters could reach him. Eaglehawk then told the hunters to set fire to the scrub, as Crow must be punished for what he had done. In the middle of the blaze, a tiny black bird came out of the smoke, and Eaglehawk said, "That's him. That's Crow. He's been punished now. His spirit turned to a black bird." To this day, Eaglehawk and Crow still continue their fight as birds. Crow picking at Eaglehawk and his chicks, Eaglehawk then fighting back.